Hey, it's me, Shay, in Gemini Garage, and as I've stated in other videos, I have a lot of different interests, and while amateur radio is one of the themes kind of my channel, it is more than 10, 11, 12 meters. I like all of the different bands. To me, they're all just radio wavelengths. Some are lower to the ground than others, so I'm really not not one of those people that kind of has an over preference of one band or one frequency over the other. I think they're all pretty cool, and I'm just not really snobby over it that way. So we all know that I definitely have an interest in the 10, 11, and 12 meter, and now we're also going to go into this little radio here. This is the AnyTone-AT UV, and it's got a frequency range of 136 to 174 megahertz, and then from 400 to 490 megahertz, which is basically a 2-meter ham band and GMRS and some merge channel 2, which there are some of those channels where legally you do not need a license to transmit, but most of them you do, but that's okay because I do have my GMRS, so good to go there. And while I don't use it a lot and talk on it a lot, I do like to listen on it, which is primarily what I'm probably going to use this radio for. But with that, let me get it together here, and I'll come back and we'll unbox this thing real quick and get to it. Stick with me. Alright, I am back, and time to unbox this thing. Again, this is the AnyTone UV778. And this is supposed to be the version 2, which is basically the same as the first one, except it's got a voice operated, voice activated transmit feature on it. So I ordered this off of eBay, and it just came in a plastic bag and this box. So instructions, cardboard, radio, more cardboard. We've got a cord here, a microphone, and some knobs, and a mounting bracket. Okay. Alright, let's see what we got here. Power cord looks pretty decent. These radios are, I think, 25 watts, so you don't need a super heavy-duty power cord unless you have a really unusually long run. Got the knobs here for the mounting bracket there, and the microphone. Well, there's a heck of a lot more going on with this thing than there is a CB microphone, that's for sure. Pretty cool. It feels like a pretty decent microphone. I mean, I've definitely handled ones that seemed a lot chintzier. The buttons have a nice feel to them and everything, so that seems to be pretty good there. The cord seems, pretty decent quality, so. I mean, you can tell sometimes when you get certain types of electrical devices or radios, the cords on them, the outside is just kind of hard and shiny and just not very pliable and just really not very really not very loving. Okay, let's see here. All right, well, there you go. Pretty much all heat sink here. Connector in the back. Got two fuses on this thing here. There's a fuse in this part of the power cord here, and these are glass bus fuses. And then we got another one in the positive part of the cord here, so that's good. Speaker on the bottom there. And there you go. So let me figure out how I'm going to mount this thing or where I'm going to put it exactly. And I think I'm going to kind of mount this on top of the President Washington that I have in the docking station there, and kind of mount it on top of there so I have both of those radios on the docking station, because the power supply is more than enough to power this thing and the other one. So yeah. Alright, there you go. I shall return. Okay, so got a bit of a mess here. My original intention is to basically take my docking station with the President Washington here and basically take this thing and mount it on top here. As you can see, I got quite a little tangled mess here. But basically mount this thing on top of here like that. So I can have both my radios on here, and since this already has a power supply in it, and I can just run that down there, and then that'll be pretty cool. So that's the plan. In the interest of time and boring the living hell out of you, I'm going to do some of this off camera. So basically what I really need to do is just drill a couple of different holes in here so it'll match up to this top bracket here. Drill a couple of holes in here so it matches up to this top one here and bolt it onto there like that. And then take and run this power cord from the 778 and run it down and hook it into this one here, and then we'll go from there. I also have this antenna here that I just bought. That's going to be a little bit of a separate video in itself too. So yeah, a lot going on right here. So I'll get to drilling these holes and running that cord, and I'll be back. So stick with me. Got a couple of these little rubber grommets here. These are actually strap locks for guitars. The guitar strap kind of, usually they have a leather end and it kind of just pulls over the little nub on the end of an electric guitar. These things are supposed to stretch over that on the outside to kind of help keep that strap on it from coming off. But they're kind of made out of rubber and they're sort of a washer, and you can get them a lot cheaper than some of these other thin rubber washers, like for the knobs on the sides and stuff. They're a little bit thicker, but they work pretty good for bushings and for some of this stuff here. So, and that's what I'm using. A couple of these things sitting on top of there, and then the bracket here, I got a couple of extra holes I drilled on the end here so it would match up with this one here. I just preferred to drill this bracket than the bigger one. And then I've got some little nuts and bolts here. I think these are little quarter 20s, I think is what they are. Or they might be, they might not be quarter, they might be 3/16, I'm not sure. So, I'm going to throw these on here real quick. Alright. And let me see, we got knobs here. Where did the knobs go? Okay. Oh, that's crazy. Holy jeez, what do they use this plastic for? I didn't think that was going to happen. They give you a replacement fuse, which I got to tell you guys, just almost any time you have an FM radio, it seems like the fuses that most of these FM radios come with, it just seems like they blow. So if you turn your FM radio on, whatever it is, if it's your CB on FM, you know, or whatever, because FM is not, it's full carrier power, so you're not swinging, so it has a tendency to blow fuses. So you may want to upgrade your fuse if you have any kind of radio that has FM on it and it's got these old glass bus style fuses in them. Which, nothing wrong with these types of fuses, but like I said, these are just, if you look in here, it's just like a hair in there, you know, for a fuse. So, okay. And let me disconnect this mess here. So I've been kind of trying to figure out what to do with this wiring situation here. Hold on here. So I don't need any more than this wire here. I certainly don't need all this extra wire here to have to stuff into here. So I have two choices, I guess. Either take this little bit of wire here with this plug and take it off right here and wire this in to here so that if I need to take the radio off or want to take it off, I can just unplug it from there. Or I can take and snip this off right here and then just wire these straight into there. I think what I'm going to do, just in case I want to take the radio off or need to take it off, because I can always get, you know, another one of these cords here. I think I'm just going to take some of this off here. Shouldn't need much. Thinking like that much ought to be plenty there. And it's funny, I just did a video on wire strippers and wire cutters, and I don't have any laying around here, so let me go grab my cutters, see if I can find them here. Okay, got some right here. That ought to do it. And while I'm at it, grab the strippers. And I got a video on these in the cool must-have tools. Another great example of using these to save some time, because I need to strip some ends off these wires. So, and there you go. And I should tin the ends of these before I attach them down here to this power supply, but I'm really not going to worry about that. So, again, pretty much what I'm doing is this power supply here, I got a short cord that runs from the radio down to the power supply, and I'm just going to take and tap these two wires in down there, and we'll mount the radio on here and plug it in. Should be good to go. Check the camera here. Alright. I'm just going to pause it because that's just going to be boring. Okay, I really did not intend for this to turn into this kind of video, but there's no way to individually just kind of do all this and make it so. No. Bear with me here. I will try and clean this mess up in a minute. So, I accomplished my mission of getting this thing wired in back here. There's like 3 different spots you can put, you know, wires on the back of this power supply, so there's still room for a couple more. I'm eventually going to put a plug with a couple wires on here. I'm going to plug or something on it, so if I want to hook this whole thing up to battery power at 12 volts, I'll be able to plug this whole thing into 12 volts if I want to. So, you know, because right now it's plugged into the wall. So, all right, so we got this on here. Basically, the next thing you need to do is just mount the radio on here. It comes with these little rubber sticky pad things, like a lot of these radios do these days. So that's cool. Keep the bracket from scratching it all up. Some people put these on the radio, which you're really supposed to put it on the bracket. Really wouldn't matter if you put it on the radio if you don't plan on opening up the radio, which something like this probably not. If you get like a CB radio or something that you're going to end up sending somewhere or whatever, you want to put it on the bracket, not the radio. Alright, a couple knobs here, and alright, let's see here. Now eventually what I might do is get another one of these brackets for the 778 and flip it upside down, and that way I could carry it, or I might just get something, a larger bracket for these for the outside here that comes up and goes over the whole thing so I can pick it up. I mean, it's not a big deal problem the way it is now. I could, you know, there's a lot of different ways I could put some kind of handle on here to pick it up and carry it around. But anyways, you get the general idea here. So we got this much cord coming off of it here, and it didn't matter that I nipped this other part off, because even though there was a fuse in line here, there was a fuse in here, so good to go there. this power supply also shuts itself off if it gets overloaded too. So, all right, so we're going to plug this into here. And I'm going to kind of tuck this cord down into there. Okay. And so you can kind of see what it looks like back here. So you can see how this is pretty cool the way it works here. I've got my power supply from the radio going down here to the power supply, or the the power cord from the radio going down to the power supply here. This cord here is wired into it now, and again, this is like a 17 amp power supply, 200 watts, so it's more than enough to power both of these. I mean, you're not going to be talking on both of them at the same time, probably. So even if you were, I think it would still handle it. But nevertheless, you got plenty of power, down here. So, and this is sitting up, so it's got some pretty good airflow on it. You could take and put a small little fan underneath here, or someplace, if you needed another fan to blow on these, because I know these things get kind of hot, but. So, all right. Next, I guess I need to. I'm going to clean this up a little bit here. I'm going to plug the microphone in here. Let's see. And these microphones are just like the old telephone jack kind of thing used to be. I believe the designation for this particular jack is the RJ45. So if you want to put another microphone on here that doesn't have an RJ45, you need an RJ45 to whatever pin or whatever microphone you're using. So that's that. And somewhere on here, I don't know where, I'll probably put a microphone holder on here. Maybe I'll put it on this side here, not sure. Okay. And I got my antenna back here. My antenna's not sitting out and mounted, like it's supposed to, but at least it's, got something hooked up to it. It's kind of important with some of these radios, I think, to have the antenna hooked up to them. Some of these radios, I don't know if these are like that, but some of them don't even like to be turned on, and listening unless they've got either a dummy load or an actual antenna hooked to them. So just, and I don't know if this is like that, but just an FYI for these kind of radios, some of them do like, an antenna or a dummy load hooked to them, even, if you're not transmitting on them. So, okay, let me clean this up and I'll be back. Alright, so here we go. So this is the antenna. Of course, it's just inside and it's not really, it shouldn't be like this, but I figure it's probably not any worse than, the duck antenna on here. But again, I'm going to put it outside and not leave it like that. That's just, like I said, I wanted to make sure I had something hooked up to it when I power it on. So, quick look at the radio here. You can see what I was going for here and kind of why I wanted to have it mounted like this. That way I've got, access to both my radios, and they can be running off the same power supply. Right now it's scanning through the channels there. Do a little more of a zoom in on it here. So just a real quick overview. Your microphone again is like an RG45 that basically plugs in there, snaps in there. This is your on-off. Your power switch there. This right here is a function button. You can push and hold that in and it will give you some menu options, like to turn the beep on and off, the dimmer, all that kind of stuff. It also gives you double the key options on here. Like on this one right here, you've got A and B band, and then you've got your I believe it's a VFO, and then your channels, and then your monitor, and then over here you've got your voice operated transmit, squelch, and volume. Like if you want to adjust the volume, you'd push that in and adjust the volume. If you wanted to adjust the squelch, adjust the squelch, etc. And then you hit the function button, and then you get you know, a whole different set of menu options here, some of which I don't know what they are, but like the scan feature there, and then it reverts back to the original 6 there. And again, if you hold this thing in, it'll take you into some menu options. And I'm trying to remember how to get out of that. I think I just hit that button there. So, yeah, and that exits you out of there. So, yeah, just a real quick overview there. I'm going to take that antenna and do a real quick kind of unboxing overview on that, and then I will learn how to use the functions on this thing more, and we'll do kind of a quick overview, a little menu tutorial, and maybe listen to it, and after I get that antenna a little bit more situated. So with that, again, this has just kind of been the unboxing and the powering up of the AnyTone-778 UV version 2. And as I said before, the version 2 is the main difference is it's got the voice operated transmit feature on it, which I think is cool with any of these kind of radios, because you're going to have them out in a situation where you might be camping or hiking or in an emergency situation, and you know, being able to push the button and not have to hold the microphone or hold the button down to transmit would be kind of cool. So especially in an emergency situation, or just a situation where you're taking instructions and you got your hands full. So. Let's pick it up, laying her on the counter.
What? 5300, it's too close that way.
So when I set it down, it's kind of squelching out because it's not really picking it up much. But when I pick it up and hold it up in the air, it's of course picking up a little bit more, which is to be expected. Again, I'm inside. This thing's just kind of hooked up to the radio here. I mean, you know, I have high hope for this antenna. I think it's pretty cool. I just see a lot of uses for this. RV use. It's not very heavy. You could probably fashion up some type of bracket and put it in your side window and roll it up in the window of your vehicle or your RV if you needed to as well. So yeah, time will tell, but so far can't complain about it. Might have to stand here and feel like the Statue of Liberty to hear anything, but that's okay.